Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and we see what kinds of events are coming out, what kind of killers we're going to need to get ready for, and see what other kind of stuff is going on that the news might be talking about. So that said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. This week we have a lot of stuff related to Final Fantasy 9 and or wind units. So yeah, here we are. The first event that we have is the Desert Palace. The Desert Palace is another box summon event, so we've already got one of these going on. We're going to get another one, which is kind of interesting for Final Fantasy 9. Now, the items that you can get in here are kind of interesting. One is a staff that allows you to cast a spell on a single target, which is sometimes kind of useful, sometimes not. But for a new player, I think this is pretty interesting. In addition, we can get a 50% physical and magical killer materia for insects. This is going to be useful not only for other events that we have going on this week, but also for Dark Visions, which is coming up this week as well. And then finally, Summoner's Prayer seems to be like a ribbon effect, but also increases evocation damage by 20%. So for a new player, this is outstanding. Evocation damage materials are pretty rare, and the ribbon effects are pretty nice as well. So picking this up as a new player is great. So if you are new to this game because you love Final Fantasy 9 and you're just checking it out, or you're here for the anniversary, do not skip this item. Summoner's Prayer or Knowledge of Terra's Bugs, both are great. Tiger Racket is at least its utility. But otherwise, you just want to kind of prepare yourself for Demon Killer and go after this enemy. It has weakness to wind at 50%, but no resistances. So wind is your best bet, but you can bring pretty much whatever you want. Just make sure you break the boss and you should be fine. Prepare for Demon Killer though, and you'll be good to go. The next piece of content that we're getting is actually in 3 pieces. So we're going to do Defense Born of Bloodstones first. This is a gear strengthening event, so you're going to do this fight 3 times and get the fully upgraded Inkai Armlet. If you get the new Zidane, it gives him 500 attack, and then also gives everybody who wears it 15% chance of evading physical attacks, fill LB gauge, and boost LB damage 25%. So for new players, that second one is really, really nice. Being able to fill your LB gauge, have some evasion, and LB damage all in one slot is pretty nice. Obviously, this is best on the new Zidane unit that's coming out because of the 500 attack, but still maybe not as good as like the Clash of Wills rings. But if you don't have the Clash of Wills rings yet, this is nice. 51 attack with 500 additional for Zidane. It's a thing you could wear. It definitely could wear it. Now to do this event, it is bonus for Final Fantasy 9, but not and I think just for Final Fantasy 9 it gets a bonus to their stats, but not locked to it. And it's a stone enemy that is, it starts out resistant to earth and has a weakness to wind. So bring your best wind units and tear this thing apart, and get you the fully upgraded Inkai Armlet. So we need demon enemies and stone enemies. The next one is a Silver Crown battle. This is Rise of a Tyrant. Now this is exclusive to wind units or Final Fantasy 2 units, which is pretty limiting. So the good news is, we've got a lot of wind units that we can bring on global, some better than others. And there you go. But this fight is interesting because it has 3 different killers all in one fight. It has 2 human enemies. Oh, sorry, 2 different killers. 2 human enemies, the Emperor and the Royal Guard, and also a plant enemy, the Wood Golem. Now, the human enemies have no weaknesses, no resistances, but the Wood Golem is 50% weak to fire. Doesn't matter because you're bringing wind damage anyway. And you can use all the breaks you want. So we need human and plant for this one, and stone and demon. So we're already well on our way of like the number of types of killers we need. But since this is crowns for Emperor, we definitely want to pick these up for free upgrades to a unit that you get. Similarly, the Wyvern and the Dragoon is here. This is Silver Crown battles for Rykard and Wyvern. This is against an insect enemy, Roundworm. So I mentioned before we get that insect killer materia from the box summon event. Here's an insect enemy you can use that against. There you go. So free killer for the week. Go get you some insect killer. This is upgrades for Rykard and Wyvern, which are not that great of a unit. In fact, I don't think I've ever even used them to fight. I've only used Rykard for his STMR, but you know, free upgrades are free upgrades. I happen to have him, so we'll go ahead and upgrade him. This enemy again has no weaknesses or resistances, and you can use all the breaks you want, but it is again locked to wind and Final Fantasy 2, sorry. I'm kind of planning on bringing Sky. Sky is a Dragoon, and she does wind lock damage, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. So I'm gonna bring Sky. Sky's intrinsic also buffs her really well against insects. So yeah, we're gonna bring Sky to this one. I'm excited. I haven't broken Sky out in a long time. Don't forget about Sky. Speaking of dragons, Advent of Purgatory is coming, so we're getting the Grace of Wind trial, and this one is all about dragons. Where is it? This one is all about those dragons, and it's got 3 different kinds of dragons: the Voa Volstock, the Voa Berga, and the Voa Indigo. And they're all dragons, and wind damage is boosted. So other than the fact that the 3rd wave absorbs lightning and imbues you with lightning, Sky could be a nice pick here too, because she does wind damage, and her jump is pretty much the best jump in the game. And yeah, there's options, but there's 3 waves here. They're all dragons. Wave 1, Voa Volstock, has no resistances or weaknesses. Wave 2 has 200 resistance to everything, and Wave 3 absorbs lightning and puts lightning on you, so got to deal with that. But you can use all the breaks you want, but we need Dragon Killer. So if you're keeping score, we've got Demon, Insect, Stone, Human, Plant, and Dragon. So we've got a lot of killers that we need this week for all different kinds of fights. But the good news is that they're all unique to their own individual piece of content. So you don't have to have them all at once. And the good news is too, Human and Demon is something we cover so much that I don't even think we need to talk about it. So we're basically not going to, but I will kind of quickly throw on screen where you can get some killers for all of these. So for we'll go ahead and start with Insect, just because it's at the top of my list. Insect Eater Sense from the Death Machine, Insect Buster from Scorn the Demon Chimera are both good. Fairly easy to get at this point in the game. Bug Killer Plus from Scorn the Marching Beast is very easy. You can also get that from Gloomwing Advance. Some items that have it are the Ega Blade, the Killer Bow Plus, and then you can get Bug Killer from regular Gloomwing as well. Now, Scanning Goggles from Eileen is going to be on several categories, so you'll probably want to pick up at least 1 Scanning Goggles from Eileen if you haven't already. Lots of killers on a single item, which is really good. And then Neovision's Lastwell is already pretty good at fighting insects, and his clothes give anybody insect killer as well. So that's an option for you if you need it. For the Wood Golem, you can get Plant Killer Plus from Scorn of Antinola. Ancient Sword from Scorn of Tiamat, Killer Bow Plus again, Scanning Goggles again, Sage of Thunder's Vestments from Sage of Thunder Sakura, Bart's Blade, Plant's only one part of the fight though, it's probably not that important. So we've got Plant and Insect and Stone. For Stone Killer, you're going to go after Stroper, Archeo Avis, Darksteel Destroyer, Darksteel Heavy Armor, Demon Axe, Scanning Goggles from Eileen. So that's 3 trials where Scanning Goggles are going to be useful, and lots of other stuff as well. Weapon Specials from Wild Rose Furion, one of my favorites. Moogle of Narshmog's Impartisan, Storm Bunny Jacket, Stone Killer from King Giot, which you can farm for free, and then make more Stone Killer pluses from the Stroper trial. Lots of choices for Stone Killer. Human, we talk about so much, I'm not even going to run through them. There you go. Don't forget about Guy's Belt. And then Demon as well, right? So lots of options. Ega Blade again, so it's on this list as well. Force Mysterian, Demon Eater Sense, Mask of Ashura, Demon Killer Plus, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead and get all those. Crucifying Coercion. Don't skip it. Dragons. So the last one we need to talk about is dragons, because this is the big one for the week, Grace of Wind. You can get Magical Dragon Killer from the Apollo Harp, Ashura's Rod, Dragon Killer Plus Recipe to make more from Eternal Summit, and Dragon Eater Sense from Octoman, which we're going to do tonight. You could also pick up Holographic Transceiver, Draco Spike, Virtue Drake, Pluie Saber, lots of options for Dragon Killer. And this is all magical ones. the physical ones include some other things like the Dark Lord from Scorn of the Sworn 8, Glacial Battle Garb, Last Guardian, Virtue Drake, Pluie Saber, Crimson Blood, Dragon Vanquisher. All these are good dragon killer items. Dragon is one of those ones that is not too uncommon. There's lots of dragon enemies and so lots of dragon killer. But Octomammoth is a little annoying if you don't have the right units for it. However, we're going to take some new units to the fight that I've never even been able to use before. So that's exciting. And we're going to take this thing out. But I'm going to show you a couple quirks about this fight. Before we do, let's go ahead and take a look at the upgrades that we get in the game and that we're getting this week. So we're getting some new leader skills. Lightning Fast Zidane, Legendary Guardian Orin. Ferris is finally getting a leader skill. Silent Knight Charlotte, Pure Hearted Vivi, Angel of Death Kuja are all getting 100% leader skills. So yay. The upgrades that we're getting for free include Emperor of Palamecia and Rykard and Wyvern. If you follow the JP side of the game, if you look at the update schedule, there's a lot of units that are supposed to get updates in this week that are not getting them, so that's kind of sad. But these two units are. And they're basically just, Emperor's getting upgrades to a lot of spells and stuff. LB and SLB are getting upgraded. And then Rykard and Wyvern, again, Brave Shift Limit Burst is getting upgraded as well as a couple other things. Probably not the most important relevant upgrades. I've never even used either of these units in a fight before. So I don't know if I still will afterwards, but I do like free upgrades and I have both these units. So there you have it. Yeah. Depending on how you look at things, lots of things are missing this week. We will never know the reason why that is. My assumption has to do a lot with, where can I find it? My assumption has a lot to do with this, July monthly bulletin. So, Bart's was, for example, one of the units that we were supposed to get upgrades for, and the upgrades make Bart's a nice wind damage dealer. And we know that in a couple weeks they're probably going to be trying to give us a new wind damage dealer, and my guess is they don't want that to impact Bart's to impact this. It's just the way it is. Speaking of, we've also got Dark Visions this week, and the final boss is Insects, so it's a good thing we talked about Insects and Dragons, because Dragons are in there as well. So Dragons and Insects, it's a good thing we're talking about those killers this week. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the fight. So we're going to show you a fight tonight against Octomammoth using this team right here. And we're going to bring a friend Richt as well. Now, I've never been able to use Ingus because my Ingus was on the EX0 and my Richt is on the EX1, so I've been holding off on using him for anything. It's time to break them out. Let's go to 12 types takedown and Octomammoth. Advanced version is going to get us Aquan Killer Plus, Dragon Eater Sense, and some other stuff as well. This tells you that it's an aquatic. Make sure you keep your water resistance raised. I'm going to show you how we're doing it so that it does not matter. And then it uses attacks on enemies that remove party members from battle if any of the limbs are defeated. We're going to kind of avoid that. We're going to kill the limbs really, really fast. It restores the body when the limbs are defeated anyway. So if we go ahead and wipe that stuff out early, then we can kind of take the boss out at our leisure. And we've got 15 turns to do it in, so we're going to be fine. We're going to take a party of 5 or less, and we'll be good. So we're going to grab this, a nice strong Richt friend. We've got Alistair here. Alistair happens to have the double hand, the LB damage boost, and the aquatic killer. And in both forms, I'm pretty sure. So just double checking, aquatic, double hand, and LB damage. Geared for all the things we would normally hope for. There you go. And even wearing the same vision card as me. There you have it. But let's talk about our team. So go ahead and pop Alistair in our party. And here's the rest of our team. Ingus is just going to be in the shift form the whole fight and is provoking. And then otherwise just has LB fill and water resistance. But Ingus is going to be eating the Imperil from the boss. So, not really doing damage. Just kind of geared for whatever. In fact, why are we wearing the Dazzling Demoness card? Because I hit auto and magic and it gave it to him. Okay, I don't really know why, but that's what we have going on here. So I just gave him LB fill and water resistance. He's got a bunch, and he's doing provoke. That's to soak the Imperil off of Runda. Runda is just geared for HP, a little bit of defense, has some water resistance. Everybody has at least 100 water resistance, so they don't take damage. And that's pretty straightforward, you know. Defense, Runda has HP restore just in case, and a bunch of water resistance. Roberta and Ignitos does too. In fact, has way too much water resistance. I again just hit auto and magic, and she's just here for buffs and stuff like that. And yeah, nothing really too special here. This is definitely not necessary for her. I'm not really sure. Again, auto just gave it to her, so whatever. Here's my Richt. Nothing in the base form because we're gonna spend the whole fight in the shift form. Mine is wearing, you know, a crown, a bunch of Clash of Wills stuff. He's got Aquan Killer because mine is the only EX1, so does not have all the Omni Killer stuff yet. MP cost reduction, chain damage up. You know, he's got stuff going on. Mine is not wearing chain cap up. I'm gonna take this off and give him, actually I'm gonna take this off and give him chain cap up. We're gonna give it to him by I know my stats are gonna suffer a little bit, but the chain cap up's gonna make up the difference. There we go. And mine's just wearing the best vision card. Oh, you know what? I've got chain cap up. Never mind. Ibarra's vision card gives chain cap up. I forgot. What a goober. So yeah, we got Ibarra's vision card, which gives him chain cap up. And then he's got LB damage and the killers that we need. So we've got Aquatic Killer, LB damage, and True Double Hand. And we're good to go. So normally, put the actions on screen. Normally you don't want to kill the tentacles. Because if you kill the tentacles, then the boss heals. But we're gonna kill them so quickly that it was not gonna matter. And then we can just, you know, proceed with the fight normally. To start us out with that, we're going to have Roberta. Wait a minute. Okay, so we're gonna start by doing Wind Imbue on Richt, on both of our Richts, and 2 Bolting Strikes. So Wind and 2 Bolting Strikes. This is before we do breaks. This is before we do imperils. This is before we do field effects or anything like that. And my Ingus is crowned, by the way, so he does the field effects. So that's cool. And we're just going to chain that up. And we're trying to not do too much damage to the tentacles, but you know, all of Richt's moves are AoE, which is potentially bad. But there you go. So we're good now. Now Ingus is going to just break the boss and put up a wind field effect to get us started. Notice we're targeting the main one, not the tentacles with the breaks, although the breaks are already in place. Roberta is going to do a Aquatic Killer buff. She's going to do Support from the Sky and Mega Breath to unlock her Quadcast. And then Runda is going to use his base LB, which is going to fill up my Richt's limit burst gauge just a tiny little bit, give us all mitigations. And there you go. Runda's going to jump out in front and soak all the damage. Ingus took all the single target stuff, but it hit Runda. So that's how that works. My LB is not ready, so we're not going to do it yet. Roberta's going to use Dragon's Fury for an LB damage buff. And our Ricks are just going to chain. Now, you could probably do this faster if you are not a goober. I'm kind of a goober. So, you know, we're just kind of like working through it and going, you know, kind of slow, taking our time. Richt is going to do all the damage. Our friend is going to be carrying the fight. We're going to use cover, break, and protect. And then we're just going to chain on the boss a little bit. Tentacles still not hurt that bad, which is good. So here's where we're going to see how the fight really works with this strategy. Ingus got hit with Water Shot, which lowers his water resistance quite a bit, but Runda does not have it because Runda's not provoking, so Runda's still going to cover and resist all the damage. Pretty cool. Our LBs are filled, so we're going to use Ingus first to do the big break, and then Ricts are going to chain, and we're also going to chain Roberta in there as well. And there we go. And then Runda's just going to put up mitigations after the fact to refill LB gauges as much as we can. Actually, Roberta's not going to chain. We're going to just chain Ingus and then Rict. So Ingus and then Rict. Okay, nice. So we did not kill the tentacles. That's good, which means we can burst again and do a little bit more damage. So cool. So we'll go ahead and do Runda to fill LB. And Roberta to fill LB with Draconic Triune. And, you know, keep the buff fresh. And buff fresh. And just Mystic Breath, you know, whatever. This time we are definitely going to kill the tentacles. Here's our LB again. And see, tentacles are dead. Now we're on turn 4, and I wanted to do it this way so you could see what's going to happen when you kill the tentacles. Boss is going to completely heal up, and it's not going to matter. Okay. Boss, tentacles are gone, boss eats the tentacles, boss is healed. Okay, now we're just going to kind of proceed normally because Rict can do enough damage to do that. It just can take us a couple turns to get there. So we're on turn 5, so we're going to just keep on chaining. There you go, just keep on chaining. And there you go. Lovely. Roberta's, you know, can keep the buffs fresh on us. Mega Breath. You could Triune if you really wanted to. We don't really need to. You could Domain if you want to. Don't really need to. Because, yeah. We'll just keep the buffs fresh. Aquatic, Mega, Mystic. Runda can recover. Okay. And then on turn 6, we need to redo our buffs. We're basically starting the fight over. So Rick will do the Zephyr and then two of those Luminous attacks. Zephyr. Oops. Nope. Not that. Zephyr and then Determination to Protect. No wonder. Oh my gosh. I had Richt in the wrong form. Zephyr, Determination to Protect. It's okay. It's alright. I feel like a goober now. We're gonna have some fun here. We're just gonna use like 2 Bolting Strikes and a We Shall Return. Do a nice LB damage next turn. See how nobody's really getting hurt except for Ingus, and it doesn't really matter that much? It's lovely. Now we're going to see some real damage because we're not actually chaining the LB. Use Ignitos Domain to clear the Imperil, support from the sky, and keep the Aquatic Killer fresh. There we go. Oh my gosh. Such a goober. Runda cover. Protect. Whatever. If you have a damage dealer that does single target damage instead of AoE damage, they will do a lot better at this. But because Rick does so much damage, he can deal with this fight in a way that other damage dealers can't. And I know I'm saying that, and we're on turn 8, but you gotta think about the fact that we lost the first 5 turns of the fight. When you think about it like that, it's like, you know. We're really doing it, we're really on turn 3 right now, you know? Okay, run as SLBing so we can get the LB, LB, and LB. Okay, turn 9, and we are going to just keep the buffs fresh. Aquatic, use a shot of Triune, and Mega Breath. There we go. We're getting close, believe it or not. Actually, we better not do that this time. We're just gonna chain. There we go. Safe trial. Just bring fun units like, you know, Richt. And have some fun with this. Keep yourself safe with a provoker who is not your tank, and just go wild. There you go. We'll just go ahead and cover, laser, protect. LB damage buff, why not? And we should be good to go here. "12 turns, I know, it's not the fastest you could do, but I'm just excited to get to take Richt and Ingus, because I've never had the chance to use any of those units, so there we go. Finally. Now I've used them in a clear. Now pulling Richt was finally worth it. Ooh, Alistair. Oh, you know what? That's because I wasn't using your shift form the first 5 turns of the fight. My bad. Yeah, you probably would have done more damage than me. Anyways. Oh my gosh, I didn't even have my LB was not leveled up. I'm having problems and I'm riding the struggle bus. Anyways, go get Aquan Killer and Dragon Killer and Insect Killer and Human Killer and Demon Killer and Stone Killer and Plant Killer. That way you can do all the fun stuff that we have coming out this week for Final Fantasy IX and for just Wind content in general, and have some fun with it. We'll be back on Thursday like normal for our normal playthroughs and community time. And don't forget that on Saturday we're doing the unofficial anniversary live stream with all the content creators right here on my channel, which will then be posted on YouTube when we're done. So if you don't catch it live on Twitch on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, definitely catch it on YouTube for the replay. and have some fun with that. It'll be a nice, fun event with full of fun conversations and maybe me eating something spicy. We'll see. But that's on Saturday, and we'll be playing the game on Thursday live, and have some fun with that too. Until then, you guys be good to each other. Take care, and go get all your killers because you need a lot this week.